Good morning, everybody. So, the question today on our theme of home is, do you know your way home? So right now, for the next couple seconds, what I want you to do is close your eyes and visualize your ride home. Sure. Better? All right. So, visualize, if you will, your ride home. And think about all the landmarks, twists and turns. And think about how blessed we are to live where we do. All of the blessings that God has put in your life. And now we know that there's troubles. We talked about that last time, and the importance of being rooted to the rock of our salvation. But how often in life do we not know what's coming? So I got Josiah and Eli here. They're going to help me and help you visualize this. And how do we get home when we can't see? So gentlemen, I'm going to have you start over by the piano. So, for those of you contemplating taking lifetime activities, this is one of Mrs. Towns' trust games that we play. So, we're going to blindfold Eli. And his job is to not walk home with a blindfold, as entertaining as that might be, but walk back to where his homeroom sits every day. So first, Josiah's going to spin him around a few times. We're going to simulate some of those troubles. All right. And now, Eli's going to just try walking without any guidance, without trying to not hit anything. And all the hazards that we could encounter. Some might be minor if we go too fast. We run into some objects. Some things that we run into might hurt more than others. All right, you can stop Eli. Josiah, come and get him. Take him all the way back. All right, here we go. Ready? Yep, you can steer him. Tap him on the right or left to make him turn. You can tell him when to go forward. And we got to get him all the way to his seat. That's life. It's okay to be a little scared sometimes. All right? Almost there. Little step. Almost there. All right, he made it. Thank you, gentlemen. Eli, you can take that bandana off. Awesome. Thank you, gentlemen. We'll let Josiah take his seat. Now, sometimes you think about how we have to navigate through life and all of the obstacles. I mean, if you walked in and he just rushed in like the world says, hey, we have to have everything all together. And if we just rush off like the secular world tells us we should, sometimes we're going to run into those benches. We're going to hit our shins, our hips, or we're going to fall and stumble. In life, we're blessed with a number of homes. We're blessed with an earthly home. We can find rest there, comfort, acceptance, people who love us. That's one of our great blessings that we have while we're here on this earth. However, for some of us, that might be the cause of our trouble. There can be misunderstandings, conflict, sickness, sometimes rejection, sorrow, pain. But the Lord still blesses you. He's there, just like Josiah's there, guiding Eli around every obstacle, sometimes almost carrying him, getting him to the stairs. Your home might be your home congregation. It might even be here. In your group of friends, you've got people who care about you, staff who cares about you. Make no mistake, this can be your home. The Lord tells us in John 16:33 that I have told you these things so that in me you have peace, as Jesus is our rock. In this world, you're going to have trouble, but take heart, I have overcome the world. He is the same Lord who guides us where we need to be and when we need to be there. So like we talked about patience yesterday, and that temptation is to speed. Well, think maybe there's a reason those two semis are driving down the road right next to each other. Because you're where you need to be when you need to be there. You're going to be delayed, and maybe there's an interaction that you're going to have with somebody to share your faith. Because we've got that good news, and whenever you've got something good, you take somebody with you. The Lord helps us persevere through his word. He reminds us, we're strangers here. We're trying to get not just back to our earthly home or to school every day, but we're trying to ultimately to get to heaven. In Hebrews 11:13 through 16, all these people were still living by faith, connected to their foundation. When they died, they did not receive the things promised. They only saw them and welcomed them from a distance, admitting that they were foreigners and strangers on earth. People who say such things show that they are looking for a country of their own. If they had been thinking of the country they had left, they would have had opportunity to return. Instead, they were longing for a better country, a heavenly one. And therefore, God is not ashamed to be called their God, for he has prepared a city for them. All those troubles that we talked about earlier that come our way, and we try to do things on our own because the world tells us we have to have it all together, and it's very easy to forget that we can never do it alone, whether we realize it or not. Just like Eli, wearing the blindfold, has someone to guide him. And when obstacles are thrown in our way in our lives, Christ is there to guide us, sometimes pull us back from the edge that would do us harm, which is far greater than a stubbed toe we might get from bumping into a table. He pulls us back from what would send us into eternal damnation in hell if we tried to do it on our own. And so even in our times of doubt, despair, trouble, whether we are at our earthly home, school, work, Christ has always been and always will be there to guide you through his word to get you to your heavenly home. And someday all of us who love Jesus will be home at last, united with our forever family who love and accept us, safe and happy with the Lord. So ladies and gentlemen, take joy in the journey, as long as it may be. We close with prayer. Christ be with me, be before me, and be after me. Be at my right and left hand. Lead me home, and may all I do be for you, Christ. Amen. We close our devotion this morning with hymn 417.
Good morning. Thank you, Mr. Rubernick and Carly for leading us in chapel today. Just a few reminders. The sophomores are in here right now. Remember to be quiet and sit in the commons and wait for Mr. Larish to let you in. Old Testament survey, you're not in your normal classroom today, along with 8th Hour Christian Living. And then tomorrow, Student Council will be having their breakfast at 7 a.m. It is free will donations, and they'll be going to Truth and Love Ministries. So it's breakfast, and it's going to be a lot of cereal. Thank you.
Thanks, Josiah. Update on David Chase fits well with Mr. Rubernick's chapel devotion this morning. David has been doing well since we arrived back home. We all agree it feels good to get back to a bit of normalcy. He still gets tired rather easily and often takes a 3 to 4 hour nap every day. He's now off of all medication except for his anti-nausea pills. We go back to Madison on Monday, April 18th. At this visit, they will do an MRI and run some blood work. If everything comes back stable, they will start him on chemo. The chemo will be done orally so we can be at home for this part of the treatment. He will do this for 9 months. It will be 6 rounds of chemo, with each round being 6 weeks. How this works is he will be on pills for 1 week and then off for 5 weeks, 6 rounds of this. If he experiences side effects, it will most likely be just during the week he's taking the medication. He will have a very low immunity during this time and will have to use extreme caution in many different aspects of his life. We have quite a lengthy list of things he will not be able to do. He will need to avoid sick people and large crowds when possible. Summer may be challenging for him as he can only swim in chlorinated water and will have sensitivity to sun. He will also need to be very careful not to get cut, as his blood pellets will be low and he will bleed very easily, and it may be difficult to get the bleeding to stop. He also cannot have any unpasteurized foods, and all meat and eggs will need to be cooked well done. This is all in an effort to avoid any bad bacteria from entering his body. There are many more restrictions, but those are a few of the bigger ones. If at any time he has a fever of 100 plus or higher, he will need to go to the emergency room immediately and get hooked up to an IV with antibiotics, as they want to be sure there's not an infection anywhere in his body. While on the IV, blood work will be drawn to be sure all of his levels look good. He will most likely lose all of his hair from the chemotherapy treatment. On a positive note, we met with David's principal the other week. After meeting with him, we went to chapel at his school, Luther High School. David was able to see his classmates, his teachers, his coaches for a few minutes. This meant a lot to him. They have been so supportive through all of this, and we appreciate all of them so very much. Their faith, their prayers, and their encouragement do not go unnoticed, and we are beyond grateful for each and every one of them. As long as David is handling his chemotherapy okay, we're going to try to have David attend school for about an hour and a half each day, starting on April 25th. He's excited to go back to school for this very short time each day and to see his classmates. As always, we cannot thank all of you enough. God has blessed us with all of you, and your kind words and prayers are what gets our family through each day. Thank you. Jeremiah 29:12 and 13. You will call upon me and come and pray to me, and I will listen to you. You will seek me and find me when you seek me with all of your heart. Thanks for your time, everybody. Have a great rest of your day.